I request you all to gently close your eyes. In the middle of a lush green forest, there was a meadow filled with flowers of every color. Golden sunflowers danced in the wind and pink roses swayed gently. In this magical place, a shiny silver path led to the enchanted kingdom of Phoenix. You may all open your eyes. Now, were you all just listening to the story or visualizing this beautiful scene? Answer me this question. Did the word roses come up to your minds as R-O-S-E-S or a picture of roses? A picture, right? A neuroscientific research shows that whenever you're listening to just information or data, only two parts of our analytic brain are engaged. But when you're listening to a story, 7 regions of both our analytic as well as the emotional part of our brain are engaged. And that's why our palms sweat as we watch Spider-Man fight for his life in the movie. We just don't hear stories, we feel them. Hi, I'm Janyupta Bhardi from Chennai and I'm 11 years old. Ever since I can remember, I loved hearing stories. Bedtime was always story time. Each night, as I drifted off to sleep, the echoes of those stories lingered in my heart. My world was full of fascinations. As I entered my tween years, everything felt like a whirlwind. At home, it felt like my little sister got all the attention, leaving me feeling a little lost. And at school, even a newcomer talking to my friends triggered my array of emotions and a sense of rejection. I strongly felt that I didn't quite fit in anywhere. But in the middle of all this confusion, there was one thing that kept me steady. Stories. They were like a warm hug on a cold day, helping me sail through my big emotions. Stories have the power to change the course of any event. Just the story of 120 valiant Indian soldiers who decided to face the 4,000 soldiers, army, tanks and troops of Pakistan at the middle of the night at Longewala completely changed the course of 1971 Indo-Pak War. The road connecting Archai and Wazirganj of Gaya in Bihar is not just a road, but a story of a determined man, Dashrit Manji, who carved out a road through the mountain all by himself for 22 long years. You know what made him do that? One day, Manji's wife Falcone was crossing the hill to share lunch with her husband. As she was crossing the hill, she slipped off a cliff and was seriously injured. It was an emergency as she was in the advanced stage of pregnancy. The hospital was 70 kilometers away, other side of the hill. Falcone took her last breath before she could reach the hospital. Manji's story of loss and pain made the impossible. Stories make us sad, move us to tears, gives us joy, transport us into the character's world. In my life, the habit of listening to and reading stories kept me sane during emotional roller coasters. Later, I learned from my mother that it was my crazy tween brain that was operating from the emotional center. The logical center was the culprit for all my overreactions to life situations. From that day, it became my mission to educate tweens on emotional well-being, make them feel heard, loved, and attended. And naturally, my way of taking it to children is through stories. And that marks my transition from a story lover to a storyteller with a mission and purpose. The point where my fascination for stories culminated with my mission on emotional health for tweens. After my TED talk for the past 1 year, I've been visiting schools as a storyteller, giving keynote speeches, running drives, planting trees, and talking on different topics like hope, resilience, joy, happiness, all while working towards my mission. One day, I stumbled upon this book called The Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield from my mother's collection of books. They say books are a way of finding us. As I randomly flipped through the pages, this one story caught my eye. All the good things. It literally moved me to tears. Each story I encountered stirred my heart. Interestingly, I found out from my mother that this whole book was a compilation of many stories from different authors. I can't explain the lasting impression the book left on me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I had this mixed emotion of excitement, curiosity, and a deep desire. Suddenly, a thought popped on my head. I want to do this. I don't know how, I don't know on what topic, but I wanted to be an author and compiler of a book of intriguing stories. During my vacation to my grandparents' home, I got introduced to something called Tirukural. Tirukural captured my interest when I saw my 65-year-old grandfather attending classes on Tirukkural without fail. His commitment inspired me to explore more on Tirukkural. Tirukkural is a form of Tamil poetry that has only 2 lines in one poem, and there are 1330 couplets in total. You know what? I didn't understand a word in it, but I got interesting facts about Tirukkural from my grandfather. Tirukkural was written around 2000 years ago and still so relevant. Tirukkural is translated into over 100 languages and is the most translated non-religious book in the world, not just in India but in the whole world. He said, you name any topic on morality, ethics, virtue, friendship, economics, you have a kural on it. I was awestruck. I asked him, does it have any kural on mindset, emotion and motivation? Yes, it does, he said, quoting a kural. Vinaythitpam என்பதொருவன் மனத்திற்பம் மற்ற எல்லாம் பிற. Meaning, execution focus lies in the resolve of the mind. All else is secondary. Not just that. Can you imagine someone talking about integrity, perseverance, procrastination and much more, which are buzzwords today, around 2000 years ago? That's it. I got a base to build my stories. I wrote one story that has a moral of one poem. I invited my friends, family, relatives to write one story on one Tirukkural couplet each. Author of the book Treasures of Tirukkural, a collection of inspiring stories for children. I'm so proud in taking the treasure chest of values closer to children. I'm envisioning creating a future strong and resilient adults by educating children on emotional well-being and values through my powerful stories. Because in today's world, anything that is big, bold and impactful is a story. A housewife from a small agricultural family in a small town in Tamil Nadu rose up to the level of establishing $1 million business. This is not just an entrepreneurial journey, but a painful story of a young woman who lost her mother to a severe skin disease and resolved to create a huge impact on the society through her organic products. What made this popular brand stand out of hundreds of other brands? The story. So children, the story that we tell to ourselves in our minds are more important than our real life stories. Going forward, my mission is gonna be making every child's story an inspiring story to the world.